Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our Srimad Bhagavat overview class. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Welcome everyone to our Srimad Bhagavatam overview class. So yesterday we discussed the wonderful section of Ajamil getting delivered by just chanting the names of the Lord. There was a wonderful discussion between Yamdutas and Vishnudutas and Yamaraj. He described the glories of the holy names. After this, Parikshit Maharaj, he asks about the Visarga. Visarga means the secondary creation. So basically, we had discussed in the third canto how Daksha was created in the fourth canto. Daksha was created by the marriage between Prachetas and Marisha. Daksha was born, and in this chapter we'll be discussing how Daksha, he went to do tapasya to please the Supreme Lord Vishnu, because he saw that the population of this world was not increasing. So Parikshit Maharaj, he inquires about the creation, Visarga, secondary creation. So he asks Shukadeva Goswami, I wish to know about the Devtas, about the humans, about the Nagas, about beasts and the birds, how they were created during the reign of Swayambhuva Manu. So he says basically that you spoke briefly in the third canto. Basically he said earlier you have spoken about it briefly. Please tell me in detail. I want to know about the potency of the Lord which brings about this secondary creation. So when Shukadeva Goswami, he hears this, he first of all praises the inquiries of Parikshit Maharaj, and then he starts replying. So actually, in order to explain how Daksha, he carried out the secondary creation, first of all, Shukadeva Goswami describes how he took birth, and after giving up the body of goat head, because he was, the whole sacrifice we discussed in the fourth canto, it came, sacrifice of Daksha was there and Lord Shiva was not welcomed, and then ultimately Sati, she burnt herself, and Lord Shiva created Veerbhadra, who beheaded Daksha. So after death of Daksha there, he got a goat head. But after staying in a body with a goat head for some time, he could not live. He was so very ashamed. He gave up his body. And then he took birth again as in the Chakshusha Manvantara. So therefore now Shukadeva Goswami starts the description of the events which led to the creation, that led to the birth of Daksha. So he describes that when the Prachetas, they emerged from the water, they saw that the trees had covered the entire surface of the earth. But the same instance was described in the fourth canto also, 30th chapter. So Shukadeva Goswami is like kind of describing the same thing again. So these prachetas, when they came out and they saw that this whole surface of universe, Bhumandala, was full of trees, they became very angry and they started burning all the trees to ashes. So they generated wind and the fire from their mouths and they started burning all the trees. Soma, who is the in charge of all the vegetation, he felt sympathy for all the trees because they were being burned and he was the maintainer of all of them. So he came to Prachetas and he spoke. So now Soma Dev is speaking. So he says, "O Prachetas, please do not kill these poor trees. Actually, it is your duty to protect the citizens. You are the protector of the citizens. You are the king of the whole world now. And it is your duty to make sure that everybody is prosperous. So you should not kill them." And actually, Supreme Lord created all these trees so that they can maintain this population. They can give fruits, they can give vegetables, and all the population will be maintained nicely. And then he says that actually, in this universe, in this world, one living entity is food for other living entity. So you should not be disturbed seeing that all these trees, they started encroaching all over the Bhumandal. So then they say that actually, if you kill all of them, Sumadev says, if you burn all the trees, they are needed for everyone's maintenance. And Supreme Lord has ordered you to generate the population. If you burn all the trees, you will not be able to maintain them. You will not be able to maintain the population. So therefore, it is very, very important. So follow the path of your predecessors. Don't burn these trees. And please protect your subjects. Please control your intense anger. And Soma Devi says, actually, kings, they should protect their citizens just like the children. Tokanam pitaro bandhu drisha pakshama striya patihi pati prajinam pratipajanam bhikshunam grihi agyanam buddhasrit. So he says, the parents, pitaraha, they protect the children. Just like eyelids, they protect the eyes. Husband protects the women. Householders maintains the beggars. Therefore, a learned person is a friend of those who are ignorant. And we should know that all the living beings, they have Supreme Lord in their heart who is maintaining them. So therefore, if you have this equal vision towards everyone, you will be able to satisfy the Lord. And one who is under the control of the moods of anger, he cannot inquire about the topics of self-realization. So please give up your anger. There is no need to become angry on the trees. Please do not burn these trees any longer, except this Marisha. Marisha is born from Pramalocha and Kandu Muni, and she was given under our care. So now please accept Marisha and beget children. So then after that, Somadev left, and Prachetas, they all married Marisha, and they begot Daksha from the womb of Marisha. We are on 16th verse now of the 4th chapter. So Prachetas, they begot Daksha from the womb of Marisha, and Daksha, he filled the entire 3 worlds with living entities. This happened during Chakshusha Manvantara. Now it is 7th Manvantara going on. It happened in Chakshusha, 6th Manvantara. So now Shukadeva Goswami says, now please hear from me how Daksha, who was very, very affectionate to his daughters, created different types of living entities. So Daksha, he created different types of entities from his mind and all the senses with his mind. First of all, Daksha created all the devatas and the demons and the human beings, birds, beasts, and so on. But when he saw that the population of this universe is not increasing, because that was his primary duty, to make sure that the population increases. So he took sannyas. He left his family. He went to a mountain called Aghamarshan. Near Vindhya mountains, there is a place, Aghamarshan. He went there and he started performing very, very difficult austerities to satisfy the Lord. So there, Daksha, he offered a prayer to the Supreme Lord to please him. And that prayer is called Hamsa Guhya prayer. So now Shukdev Goswami says that I will explain to you that same Hamsa Guhya prayer which Daksha did to please the Supreme Lord Vishnu. So actually these Hamsa Guhya prayers, they were not composed by Daksha. Sorry. They were not composed by Daksha. They were already there in the scriptures. So Daksha, he just recited all these prayers. And then now Shukdev Goswami starts describing the Hamsa Guhya prayers. So Daksha is now praying from 23rd verse to 34th verse on. So there is a series of beautiful prayers which Daksha is offering to Supreme Lord Vishnu. He says, my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Lord, who is transcendental to Maya and all the products of material nature. He is the real knowledge. You know, in this world, people are hankering for knowledge of so many things. What is real knowledge? Real knowledge is to know about Supreme Lord Vishnu. As Prabhupada would always say, what is the definition of knowledge? Knowledge means to know matter, spirit, and controller of both. That Supreme Lord is the controller of all the living entities. Maya dhakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam. And then unseen by persons whose intelligence, so those people who are absorbed in material intelligence, they cannot understand or see the Supreme Lord. Because he protects the right to reveal himself. Naham prakasha sarvasya yog maya samavrita mudhoyam na vijanati loko mamajanopyayam. So the ignorant, foolish people, they cannot know him. He is Supreme Lord, self-manifested. He surpasses all the material measurements. With all the material calculations, nobody can understand. One can only understand Krishna by devotional service. Tathapi te deva padambujadvaya prasadalesha nugrihita evahi janati tattvam bhagavan mahimno nachanya eko pichiram vichinvan. Brahmaji is praying that only by mercy of the Lord, prasad lesh anugrihit, only by the drop of mercy one can understand the Supreme Lord. Otherwise, if one can go on speculating for thousands of years, nachanya ekopi chiram vichinvan, they cannot understand the Supreme Lord, even if they keep on speculating for many thousands of years. And then Daksha is saying that Supreme Lord's, his knowledge is unlimited, but jivas, their knowledge is limited. So as the sense objects, they cannot understand how the senses are perceiving them. Similarly, the conditioned soul, the conditioned soul who is residing within the body, he cannot understand how the Supreme Lord is capable of knowing all the things which are done by the living entity. Because Supreme Lord is omniscient. He is unlimited. Just like matter which is dead, the body, the life air, senses, elements and all that, they cannot understand the jiva because they are dead. Jiva, this living entity, is conscious. So all these dead matter, they cannot understand the Lord. Jiva can understand these items. And actually, Daksha is saying, actually Jiva can understand Paramatma also. But he cannot understand or know the omniscient Lord. So basically what Daksha is saying, in the liberated state, Jiva can understand Paramatma feature, that is Brahman. Brahman and Paramatma can be understood. But even liberated souls cannot understand the Bhagwan feature of the Lord unless they render devotional service. Prabhupada writes a very nice purport here. He says that Lord can be known in two aspects. His impersonal aspect, which is easy to understand, although the process of impersonal realization is not so easy. All the jnanis and all the yogis, they have to do lots of tapasya. क्लेशो अधिकतरस्तेषाम् अव्यक्ता सत्यचेतसाम् अव्यक्ता हि गतिर दुःखम देहवद्भिर्वाप्यते. Krishna saying in Bhagavad Gita that the path of impersonal realization is not so easy. Very, very troublesome path. But Prabhupada writes that this impersonal aspect is easy. Sugyeyam. Sugyeyam means easy to understand. But the Bhagavan feature of the Lord, with his name, form, qualities, pastimes, not so easy to understand. Only a devotee can know. And if we are not eager, if we are not ready to understand this, Bhagavan feature of the Lord, we will not understand. So the only thing which is required is we should have that eagerness. Otherwise, just by casually taking to the process of Krishna consciousness will not help us. We have to be really eager. So therefore Prabhupada writes, it is Durgyayam. The path which we are going on, we have started on a journey which is a very, very difficult journey. To know Krishna, to love Krishna, it is the most difficult thing in the entire creation. Sudushkaram karam kritva lokapalaira piprabho. Narad Muni is saying to Uttanpad, your son has performed unimaginable task, a very, very difficult task. What is that? He has pleased the Supreme Lord. We are also on the journey to please the Lord. We want to serve Krishna, please Krishna. So if we are not eager, if we are not attentive, if we are not sincere and serious, then we will not be able to know Krishna. We will not be going to the detailed aspects of devotional service. We may know some external features of devotional service. We may know the definition of Krishna consciousness. We may know what is the process of bhakti. But if we don't practice it properly, this will not sink in the heart. So therefore, we have to have that eagerness, we have to have the seriousness to know Lord. Otherwise, it will all just remain a theory. It will not sink in. So therefore, Prabhupada is writing, Ata Sri Krishna Namadi na bhaved grahyam indriyai sevon mukhehi jihvadau swayameva suratyadaha. Name, form, pastimes of the Lord cannot be understood just by external, practice of devotional service. Sevon mukhehi jihva adau. You have to start serving beginning with the tongue. Learn to speak only about Krishna. Learn to remember Krishna, chant the names attentively, seriously. Krishna consciousness is an art. We have to learn this art of Krishna consciousness. So then, Daksha, he says that Supreme Lord, he is personal and impersonal also. So first he describes the easily understood aspect, that is the impersonal aspect. He says the Lord is perceived as impersonal, Brahman, in the stage of trance by those who are completely purified. So even Brahmavadis, those who are impersonalists, they have become completely purified. Only then they can understand Brahman. And all the contaminated desires are completely destroyed. So attaining Brahman is not so easy. Then what to speak of attaining Bhagavan? Then he describes the aspect which is Durgeyam, very, very difficult. He says, just as Brahmanas, they know how to extract fire from the wood by chanting of the mantras. The devotees of the Lord, they can find the super soul in the heart. So therefore, only a devotee can know Krishna. Bhaktyamam abhijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvataha. Only a devotee of the Lord can know the Supreme Lord. Only by the rendering of devotional service with a serious and sincere heart one can know Krishna. And Prabhupada writes that Chakravarti Thakur uses the word Durgyayam, which means very difficult to realize. Who can realize Krishna? Yesham tvantagatam papam jananam punya karmanam te dundu moho nirmukta bhajante mam dridhavrataha. Only one who has stopped all the sinful activities with the body, with the words, with the mind. Antagatam papam. They have stopped all their sinful activities. Jananam punya karmanam. And their pious, devotional activities have risen up. Te dvandva moha nirmukta. They are free from all the dualities of the world, and they can only practice devotional service with all the determination. So therefore, this path of bhakti is a very, very rare path. And we are so very fortunate that we have got this rarest of the rare things, Sudurgeyam. It is not even Durgeyam, it is even more difficult. Sudushkaram karam. So therefore, we have got this most rarest of the rare thing. Now it is up to us to not lose this very, very precious gem which we have got. Prema ratan dhan hilaye harainu. Adhane jatana kori dhan teyaginu. So if we are not careful, if we are not attentive, we may lose this process of Krishna consciousness. So therefore Prabhupada writes, although it is very, very difficult to understand, it becomes easy if one follows the prescribed method. What is that? Chanting the names of the Lord and being very, very serious and sincere. Shrinvata swakatha Krishna punya shravana kirtana hridayantastho hi bhadrani vidhunoti suritsata shrinvatam swakatha. If one very seriously attentively hears the name of Krishna, pastimes of Krishna, all the contaminations get destroyed. Pravishta karna randrena swanam bhava saroruham dhunoti shamalam Krishna salilasya yatha sharat. Just like the autumnal rains cleanse all the dirt which is accumulated, the chanting of the names of the Lord, when enters the ears, it purifies the heart. Then he says that Supreme Lord is a reservoir of unlimited potencies. He is inconceivable. He is anirukta. He is nirvana sukhanubhuti. He is realized as bliss. Therefore, devotees who are pure, they are always blissful in whatever circumstance they may be. A few days back, we were hearing a class by Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. He is giving a live class to all the Chowpatty devotees. And we all know the health condition of Jayapataka Swami Maharaj. He has undergone a lots of troubles in terms of his body. Recently, last year, he got his kidney and his liver transplanted. He had his stroke and then so many things. But still, when he was speaking Hari Katha, Gaur Katha, he was speaking about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was completely blissful. He was in bliss. He was chanting and shouting names of Gauranga. Sukhanubhute. That is the experience of bliss. Because Lord is a reservoir of all the qualities, all the spiritual bliss. The devotees of the Lord are also the reservoir of all the bliss. So devotee is not troubled. Prabhupada, when he was in America and when he went there, many times he would go on the Boston Harbor to ask for the timing of the next boat which is going to India. He would go many times because he was always he was sometimes restless because he was not getting any response from the people there. Sometimes he would become discouraged. He would go and ask, when is the next boat going to India? And this happened many times. One time, this officer at the Boston Harbor, he asked, Swamiji, you are always coming and asking for the timing, but when are you going? But Prabhupada never went. Because he was connected to Krishna, he was experiencing, even in that seemingly desperate and discouraging situation, he was connected to Krishna. He was connected to his spiritual master, Saraswati Thakur. So therefore, Supreme Lord is the reservoir of all the potencies. Unlimited potencies are there, headed by Ladini, Samvit and Sandhini. Nobody can know the qualities of the Lord. Even if somebody can count the grains of sand, the snowflakes in all the Arctic and Antarctic regions, even if somebody can count the sun rays, still nobody can count the qualities of Krishna. Gunatmanaste api gunan vimatum hitavatirnasya kaishiresya kalena yairvai vimita sukalpai bhupam sava khe mihika dyuhasaha. Very difficult. Nobody can understand. Even Shesha is chanting the glories of the Lord since the beginning of the creation. He has not come to an end. So therefore, Brahma says, Supreme Lord, his real nature, his swarupa cannot be understood by words, by intelligence, with the senses or the mind, because all these are under the modes of nature. Only by the practice of devotional service one can know him. So Lord, although he is engaged in creation, maintenance and destruction, he is beyond the three modes. So Prabhupada writes there that Prachetas and now Daksha is offering prayers unto the Supreme Lord and not to anyone within the creation. Because Prachetas, they were also offering such type of prayers, and Daksha is also offering such type of prayers. Only a foolish and rascal person thinks that God is a material creation. That's how Mayavadis are. Mayavadis, they say, Supreme Lord, Absolute Truth, covered with the mode of goodness, becomes avatar. Avajananti mam mudha manushim tanumashritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. Foolish people cannot understand me when I descend in a human form. The incarnation of the Lord in human form is the rarest of the rare avatars. It's the most beautiful of all the avatars. Krishna rayate kakhela sarvottama nara lila nara vapu tahar swarup gopavesha venukara nava kishora natavara nara lila hoye anurup. So of all the avatars of Krishna, Krishna as a human, very, very beautiful to look at, in which we can relate to him. So therefore, then Daksha, he glorifies Supreme Lord in this prayer. Yasmin yato yena cha yasya yasmai yadyo yatha kurute karyate cha paravaresham paramam prakrasiddham tad brahma tad heturananyadekam. He says that Supreme Lord, who is the cause of all causes, Hetu, he is the Hetu, he is the cause of all causes. He is Yasmin. Yasmin means in whom entire creation rests. He is the ultimate resting place of the entire creation. Yataha, Yataha means from whom everything emanates. Yasya Yena, Yena means from whom everything is enacted. He is the supreme ultimate actor. Yasya, to whom everything belongs. Yasmai, to whom everything is offered. So in this one line, Daksha has compiled the essence of all the scriptures. Supreme Lord is the one in whom everything rests. He is the source of everything. He is ultimately the efficient and material cause of everything. And everything belongs to him only. He is the supreme proprietor. Yasya, and everything is supposed to be offered to him only. Yasmai. Bhoktaram yagya tapasam sarvalok maheshwaram. So therefore, it says, who is the desired object in this entire creation? That Supreme Lord. Supreme Lord is the entire desired object. Whatever we are doing, we should do for the Supreme Lord. We should desire only the Supreme Lord. And then he says, Yaha. And this personality does everything by himself. He is Aptakam. Supreme Lord is Aptakam. He is the ultimate doer. He does not depend on anybody else. He is Aptakam. Therefore, that Supreme Lord is Prasiddha. He is well known. He is well known. He is existing before everyone. He is without any other cause. And then after that, Daksha, he describes that statements of bhakti and jnana, they are not contradictory. So in 31st verse, he says that Supreme Lord is the possessor of unlimited divine qualities. Saita madhurya sar anya siddhi nahi tar tiho madhuryadi guna khani आर सब प्रकाशे तार दत्त गुण भासे यहाँ यत प्रकाश कार्य जानी. Kaviraj Goswami says, Saita Madhurya Sar. Supreme Lord is the abode of all sweetness. All divine qualities are there. Anya Siddhi Nahi Tar Tiho Madhuryadi Guna Khani. He is the immutable mind of all the transcendental qualities. Therefore, Chakravarti Thakur writes that Sudha Goswami is glorifying the transcendental qualities of the Lord. Ko nam tripyet rasavit kathayam mahattamaikanta parayanasya harerudaram charitam vishuddham shushrushatam no vitanotu vidwan. Who can be satisfied hearing the name, form, pastimes, and the qualities of the Lord? Nobody can be satisfied. That is the glorious nature of the pastimes of the Lord. Nantam gunanam agunasya jagmo yogeshwaraye bhavapadma mukhyaha. Even the great controllers of this creation, Brahma, Lord Shiva, they are glorifying the Supreme Lord. Who is this Lord? This Lord's Maya, it causes the philosophers to forget their own souls. They become bewildered. People who are not devotees of the Lord, they are completely bewildered by the material energy of the Lord. They are just engaging in all the arguments, debates. Therefore, Prabhupada writes, non-devotees, they have different ideas for creation, maintenance, and annihilation. And they are called Vadis or Prativadis. They are just interested in argument and debates. These people, they are envious of the Supreme Lord. They cannot know the Supreme Lord. And what is their destination? They go to hellish planets. Tanaham dushata kruran sansareshu naradhaman. Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita that these people, they are put into hellish situations because they are just interested in debating. They are not interested in serving the Supreme Lord. So if someone says that these philosophers argue because there are different opinions stated in the scriptures, then that is not true actually, because there are no different opinions which are stated in the scriptures. Bhakti and Jnana, they are describing the same Brahman in different forms. So that is what he says, Daksha says in the 32nd verse. Both the yogis and both the jnanis and the bhaktas, they are talking about the same Supreme Brahman. And they approach the same Brahman in different ways. Prabhupada, he writes a different translation. He is focusing on Mayavadis. He says there are two parties, namely theists and atheists. This Sankhya philosophy, we heard in the 3rd canto by Kapila Dev, there are two types of Sankhya. There is a theistic Sankhya, which is propagated by the son of Devahuti, Kapila Dev. There was a impostor, Kapila also. He was an atheist. He also propagated this Sankhya philosophy. So Prabhupada is describing that Sankhya as atheistic Sankhya. But ultimately, the theistic Sankhya and the devotional service is the same. We heard in the Bhagavad, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita also, Yat Sankhya prapyate sthanam tad yogairapi gamyate ekam sankhyam cha yogam cha yah pashyati sah pashyati. So whatever result is obtained by the practice of Sankhya, the same result is obtained by the practice of Bhakti also. And Prabhupada writes an interesting line that, what is Sankhya? Sankhya is the process of finding the root of the tree. And what is Bhakti? Bhakti is the process of watering the root of that tree. So therefore, in the ultimate result, both are the same. And then Prabhupada writes about Sankhya and the process of Bhakti in great detail. He says, this Sankhya means physical study and speculative understanding of the matter of this world. What are the 28 or 24 elements of this material nature? That is called Jnana Shastra. But by reading all this Jnana Shastra, ultimately one attains Brahman only. The process of devotional service gives one the realization of Bhagavan feature. Because this Bhagavan feature is, Bhagavan is a possessor of transcendental names and the forms. And therefore, in the 33rd verse, he says that to show mercy to those who are worshipping his lotus feet, that Supreme Lord has no material names. He has unlimited spiritual names. He exhibits the transcendental name, form, pastimes. That Supreme Lord be pleased with me. After this, the Supreme Lord appeared in front of him, hearing all the beautiful prayers of Daksha. And he gives wonderful instructions to Daksha. And there he says, "O Daksha," first of all, the Supreme Lord's form is described. How he was wearing a very beautiful garment. His lotus feet were resting on the shoulders of Garuda. He came sitting on Garuda, as you can see in this picture. And he had 8 long, mighty, beautiful arms. He was not in 4-handed form. He was in 8-handed form. And in all these 8 hands, he was holding very wonderful, all the various weapons. Disc, conch, sword, shield, arrow, bow, rope, and club. And with this beautiful description, Laksha is beautifully observing all the various features of the Lord. He is wearing a yellow garment. He has a deep bluish body, very charming eyes, and he is wearing a long garland of flowers. He has a kaustubh jewel around his neck. He has a Srivatsa mark. That is the thing which makes him different from all the other Vaikuntavasis. Only Lord Vishnu has Srivatsa and Kaustubha. He is wearing a beautiful crown and he has a very shining earring. He is wearing a golden belt. So after seeing all these beautiful features, Daksha saw that Supreme Lord is accompanied by the great devotees, like Narada was there, and Nanda, and Nanda is the principal associate of the Lord in Vaikuntha. And all the sages were there, all the Siddhas, Charanas, Indra, and everybody was there. As soon as Daksha, he saw the Supreme Lord, he offered his full obeisance, Dandavat, Actually Daksha was first, and when he saw the Supreme Lord, he was somewhat afraid. But then he was very happy that he saw the darshan of the Lord. And seeing the darshan of the Lord, Daksha became full of, bliss. He became very, very happy. And he wanted to say, but he was choked with emotions. He could not say anything. So therefore, seeing this situation of Daksha, Lord spoke. Lord himself started speaking to Daksha. He said, "Oh Daksha, your life is successful. You have pleased me by your wonderful austerities. And you are endeavoring so hard by your austerities that you are fulfilling my desire to increase the population of this world. Actually, you are one of my vibhutis, Brahma, Shiva, Manus, Devatas, and you, Prajapatis. They are working for everyone's welfare by increasing the population." Why Lord Vishnu is saying that you are working for the welfare of people? Because that is the ultimate desire of a Supreme Lord, to give bodies to those living entities who have rebelled against him and they want to come in this material world to enjoy. So Supreme Lord is like the father who gives a chance to his rebellious son to come back to his own abode again after getting frustrated in this material world. So that is the only purpose of the Lord for creation of this entire universe, to fulfill our rebellious desires. That's how Lord is so very merciful. And it is our responsibility, our duty, that after we have come to know that our actual home is the spiritual world, we should strive our best to continue and pursue this path of self-realization. Then he says that actually, according to Karma Yoga, what is my form? He says my heart is the austerity in the form of meditation. If somebody is doing meditation, austerities, that is my heart. And the Vedic knowledge, hymns and mantras, they are my body. Lord is saying, they are my body. And the spiritual activities and all the ecstatic emotions, they are actually my form. What are my limbs? All the religious ceremonies and all the sacrifices, they are my form. My mind is the good fortune which is resulting from all the sacrifices. What is my life here? My life here is the devatas who execute my orders. So this is Lord describing his form of karma yoga. Now Lord describes his form of bhakti yoga. According to bhakti yoga, what is the form of the Lord? He says, aham evasam evagre nanyat kinchataram bahi sangyan matram abhyaktam prasuptam eva vishwatah. So in this one verse, he describes his form according to bhakti yoga also and jnana yoga also. According to bhakti yoga, he says, we have heard in the second canto, this is a Chatushloki Bhagavatam. The beginning two lines are similar. Aham eva samevagre nanyat sat asat param. I existed before the creation, and I'll alone exist after this creation. Nothing exists outside of me. Everything is in me. According to Jnana Yoga, I am the pure consciousness. I am the pure consciousness which is imperceptible to the senses. And then he says, Supreme Lord says, I am the reservoir of all the spiritual potencies, unlimited potencies I have. I am all pervading. In fact, in the beginning, I instructed Brahma to perform austerities. When he was feeling himself incapable of doing so, he also underwent difficult austerities by which he was able to create the entire universe. And therefore, when you were born to help him, then that was the purpose of my creation of this entire universe, so that all these people like you are born and they fill this universe with all the population. So therefore, to assist you in your service of creation, I am giving you this Asikni. Who is this Asikni? Asikni was the daughter of Prajapati Panchajanya. So Panchajan, his daughter, was married to Daksha. Her name was Asikni. So Lord tells that you unite with her and you beget hundreds of children. So now interesting thing here, very, very important thing to understand here. Daksha, he got darshan of the Lord, the Supreme Lord who can fulfill all the spiritual desires. Supreme Lord, he did not give him love of God. In fact, on the other hand, he engaged Daksha in material worldly activities, just the act of procreation. In fact, what he is doing, he is casting Daksha into the path of karma and enjoyment. Why Lord is doing that? Why he is not giving his own sweet love of God? Because Daksha, he committed an aparadh to Lord Shiva, the supreme devotee, and the effect of that offense was still there. So therefore, this shows that even if somebody gets darshan of the Lord, if somebody offends the devotee, he will not develop love of God. So that's how devotees of the Lord, they are very, very important. They are worshipable. So we have to learn not to offend devotees. This is a practice we have to make. Many times unconsciously also, we keep on, criticizing devotees, keep on recounting the faults of the devotees. This is very, very dangerous mentality. It goes deep in the heart. So consciously we have to avoid. Everybody in this Kali Yuga has faults. Who does not have fault? Kalir dosha nidhi rajan asti hi eko mahan guna. This is the ocean of faults. Everybody has faults. So if somebody gets a few drops from this ocean of faults, what is the big thing? Everybody has faults. So therefore, if we are offending devotees by criticizing them, then it is a very, very dangerous thing. Hati mata aparad, as described by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So therefore, Lord Shiva, Lord Vishnu, he does not give love of God to this Daksha. And then he says, "O Daksha, your children will be captivated by my Maya also. They will also fulfill this. They will also fill this entire creation with the progeny." After saying that, the Supreme Lord disappeared. So then after Supreme Lord disappeared, now Daksha, he engaged in tapasya. After engaging in tapasya, he went back and he begot children. From Asikni, he begot 10,000 sons called Haryashva. Haryashvas, they were all well behaved, they're dharmashila, and after being ordered by Daksha, they all went to a place called Narayan Saras. In this Narayan Saras, great sages, they live. So these 10,000 sons of Daksha, they performed austerities there. They took regularly bath in this lake Narayan Saras, and because of the potency of that place, they became immediately purified of all their material desires. And in fact, they became inclined on the path of Paramahamsas. What is Paramahamsa path? The path of renunciation. So while they were performing austerities to fulfill the desire of their father, one day Narad Muni approached them. So why Narad Muni approached these 10,000 sons of Daksha? Narad Muni thought, these people, they are already pure, they are qualified. Why they should get entangled in family life? Just like when devotees, they go for college preaching, so then they see that, oh, these devotees, these students, they are already well qualified, they have the intelligence. Why they should entangle in the material worldly activities? We should give them Krishna consciousness. So that was the thought process of Narad Muni also. So he thought, why? These are already pure people, purified of all material desires. Why they should become entangled? In fact, I will liberate them by giving confidential teachings. So now, Narad Muni, he was a very, very expert preacher. So he knew whom to speak in what language, So when somebody is really intelligent, he does not like to be told anything straightforward. He does not like gross language. He likes refined language, and he likes to be, instructed in a indirect way. So if somebody is spoken directly something, told something directly, he may not like it if he is very, very intelligent and expert scholar. So Narad Muni started speaking in a allegorical language to all these 10,000 sons. And he described the allegory of a kingdom. So in 9 verses, from 6th to 9th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th verses, Narad Muni describes the allegory. So in this slide, you can see the allegory which was put by Narad Muni and the understanding of the Haryashvas and the conclusion which they came to. So in all these verses, from 11 to 20th verses, every verse ends with Kim asat karma bhir bhavet. Kim asat karma bhir bhavet. Kim asat karma bhir bhavet. That means why to become entangled in this worldly activities. So therefore now Shukdev Goswami is saying, that Narad Muni started speaking all this allegorical statement. And after hearing all these allegorical statements of Narad Muni, Haryashvas, they considered them with their natural intelligence. They were by nature very intelligent. They did not take the help of anyone. They did not ask, they were 10,000. 10,000, sons, they did not start discussing, kya bol rahe Narad Muni? I am not understanding. Everybody individually came to the same conclusion. So now Narad Muni says that you have not seen the extremities of this earth. Adrishtva tasya nirvanam. Adrishtva means you have not seen. What does this mean? Haryashvas, they understood. Actually, we see no end to the designations. In this world, everybody has unlimited upadhis. And why these upadhis are there? Because living entities in every life, they accept a particular type of body. So what is the use of engaging in all this material activity? Sarvopadhi vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhaktiruchyate. So therefore, Rupa Goswami says that we have to give up all our bodily designations. So now this Haryashvas, they could understand that living entities, because they engage their body in various activities because they want happiness. Everybody wants happiness. For that happiness, a man is working day and night, very hard, like animals, like hogs and dogs, Prabhupada writes. In Bhagavatam, few animals are celebrated. Hogs, dogs, camels, and asses. They are celebrated animals in Bhagavatam. They are royally glorified, in the other way. So therefore, Prabhupada would always give all the strong words. Yeah, dog. One time Prabhupada was giving a class. He was saying, if you don't take to Krishna consciousness, you will become dog in your next life. One person raised his hand and said, Swamiji, what is the problem in becoming a dog? Because in America, dogs are very respected and they are given all the luxury. Prabhupada said, you have my blessings. You can become dog. And everybody was thinking, oh my God, pure devotees giving blessings, kya hoga iska? So that's how people, they are engaging in all the worldly activities. Nidraya riyakte naktam vyavayena chavavayaha divacha arthe haya rajam kutumba bharanenava. Morning, daytime spent in earning money, nighttime either sleeping or enjoying. Therefore, people, they are so blind that they cannot see death is coming. Human form is not meant for enjoyment. Human form is meant for tapasya. Tapo divyam putrakayena sattvam, as Rishabdev says. So therefore, they come to this conclusion. What is the use of engaging in all these fruitive activities? Then Shukdev Goswami, then this Narad Muni says, in that kingdom, only one man lives. Tathaika Purusham Rashtram. All these Haryashras, they understand that in this universe there is only one enjoyer. That is the Supreme Lord. He is the Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasam. He is a supreme independent Lord. What is the use of working for sense gratification? If somebody does not understand the Supreme Lord, what is the use of working? Aradhito yadi hari tapasa tathakim, naradhito yadi hari tapasa tathakim. What is the use of all these austerities if we are not understanding Krishna? Shukdev Goswami also beautifully describes a prayer. Tapasvino dana paraya shashvino manasvino mantra vido sumangalaha shemam na bindanti vinaya darpanam tasmai shubhadra shravase namo namaha. He says all the austerity, all the charities, all the scholarly knowledge, all the chanting of the Vedas and the hymns, they will not give any result if Shemam na vindanti vinaya darpanam, if they are not offered to the Supreme Lord. So therefore, then after that, Narad Muni says that in this world, there is a hole from which, having entered, no one emerges. Bila cha adrishta nirgamam. So they realize, they understand that this hole, this world is Vaikuntha, and whoever enters this Vaikuntha, nobody comes back. Yad gatvan anivartante. Therefore, what is the use of working so hard if one is ignorant about the abode of the Lord? What is the use of working? This is the common line. What is the use of working? What is the use of working hard? What is the use of all this karma? What is the gain? Then Narad Muni says, if an unchaste prostitute, dresses, keep changing dresses, and they understand that in this world there is an unchaste prostitute who keeps changing dresses. Who is that prostitute? Jiva. We keep changing our intelligence. Just to enjoy this world, we keep changing our intelligence, keep changing our bodies. Therefore, what is the use of engaging in karma? If we just engage our intelligence in all the material activities of the world, what is the use? Then he says that in this world, there is a husband of this prostitute. Who is the husband of this prostitute? The Jiva. The Jiva with unsteady intelligence loses his power of independence and prolongs his materialistic life. Therefore, what is the use of fruitive activities if one does not know where his intelligence will take him? So therefore, our prime responsibility is how to purify our intelligence. This is the whole process of Krishna consciousness, to make our intelligence from material to spiritual. Somebody may say, but my intelligence is material. My intelligence is focused on sense gratification. How to bring the mind to intelligence to spiritual intelligence? Our intelligence, our spiritual intelligence is scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, devotees of the Lord. This is our spiritual intelligence. We cannot rely on our material intelligence. Our spiritual intelligence is coming from the scriptures, coming from the saintly devotees. Otherwise, in this world, Jiva keeps wandering, thinks I am the doer, I am the owner, I am the controller. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani sarvasha ahankara vimudatma karta aham iti manyate. He thinks I am the doer. Narad Muni says, in this kingdom there is a river which is flowing in both directions. What is this river? This is the river of material nature. And the two directions is creation and annihilation. So therefore, what is the benefit of doing so many things in this material universe? And then Narad Muni says that there is a house in this kingdom which is made up of 25 elements. And this Supreme Lord is the reservoir of this 25 elements. That's what they understand. He controls and he causes this entire manifestation. So this world is made up of 25 elements and Supreme Lord is a controller. So therefore, what is the benefit if one engages in karma not knowing that Supreme Person? So all the Vedic literatures are meant to come to this understanding that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Vedesha sarvair ahameva vedyaha. After this, Narad Muni says that in this kingdom there is a speaking swan. This speaking swan vibrates various sounds. Who is that speaking swan? This swan is the scriptures and the devotees of the Lord. They describe the process of bondage and liberation. Bandha moksha anudarshanam. And then the Haryashvas, they understand. Therefore, if somebody leaves the study of the scriptures, if somebody leaves the association of devotees and he engages in worldly activities, what is the use? Naradito yadi hari tapasa tatah kim. This verse says, Mamanaradya dukkhartam kutumba asaktamanasa satsangarahito martyo vriddha seva parichyuta. So there are 4 symptoms of fortune for a person. If somebody gets the association of devotees, if somebody gets a chance to serve the devotees, if somebody gets a chance to serve Krishna, and Mamanaradya dukkha, if somebody gets a understanding that the purpose of life is not just meant to take care of the family, but to realize Krishna, that person is the most fortunate person. So therefore, these Haryashvas, they are saying, what is the use of studying all these karma kandi things? If somebody leaves the study of Krishna, the literatures, if somebody leaves the association of devotees, then Narad Muni says, in this kingdom, there is an automatically revolving object that is made up of thousands of sharp razors and thunderbolts. What is this revolving object? That is the eternal time, Kala Chakra. It goes on uninterrupted, fully independent. Therefore, what is the use of staying in this material world? If one does not try to study the eternal time, what is the use? Kim asat karma bhir bhavet. And then in the end, Narad Muni says, how will you procreate without knowing your omniscient father's actual order? So Narad Muni is saying, actually your father, he gave you these instructions to come and do austerity, but actually he wanted to give you a different order. He wanted to make you renounce from this material world. So therefore, Haryashvas, they understood that we have to accept the instructions from the Shastras, they are our original father. The words of the Shastras, they are our original, true north. We have to take shelter of the scriptures. Every day we have to read scriptures, read Bhagavatam, read Bhagavad Gita. Then our intelligence will become strong. Then our doubts will be removed. Otherwise, doubts kill a endeavoring spiritualist. If we doubt the process of Krishna consciousness, then we'll not be able to advance. So the more we study scriptures, the more we study Bhagavatam regularly, the more the doubts will be destroyed. And after describing all this, Haryashvas, they all came to the same conclusion. Ek Chetasaha, in the 21st verse now. Haryashvas now, they are coming to the conclusion. Narad Muni, he left, and all the Haryashvas, they followed the path by which one never returns to the material world. That means they followed the path of devotion. Now, Narad Muni, Shukadeva Goswami describes that Narad Muni, he keeps traveling with his veena, and he plays very beautiful, notes on his veena, glorifying the Supreme Lord. Prabhupada writes a wonderful full bhajan of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Narad Muni bajaye veena radhika ramana name, nama mani udita hoy, bolo hari bolo. This huge full bhajan Prabhupada writes in the purport. So in Daksha, he heard that all his 10,000 sons have become renounced. They have become sannyasis. He became very upset. He lamented. Brahmaji came. He pacified Daksha. And then Daksha, he begot another 1,000 sons, which were called as Shavalashvas. Again, Daksha ordered them to beget children. And before that, they were sent to the same place. So Daksha sent again these 1,000 sons to Narayan Saras. So Prabhupada writes that, in Vedic culture, training in spiritual understanding is very, very important. So therefore, Daksha did not mind sending these children again to the same place, because for him, spiritual training was more important, and he was ready to take that risk. Now when Shavalasvas, they went there, they did their tapasya. They were also purified by chanting and bathing in the holy rivers of Narayan Saras. So then, and they were chanting the mantra, and they were taking bath in the Narayan Saras, and they were chanting the mantra. Om Namo Narayanaya Purushaya Mahatmane Vishuddha Sattvadhishnaya Mahahamsaya Dhimahi. So in this way, they are chanting the mantra, and they are glorifying the Supreme Lord. Again, Narad Muni came there. Again, he approached and spoke again all this enigmatic language. Because Narad Muni knew these are also the brothers of Haryashvas. So he spoke. You all are affectionate brothers of, Haryashvas. A younger brother should follow the elder brother. So therefore, you should follow the path of your elder brothers. And just by following a path which is traversed by a pious brother, a younger brother also gets the same destination. So these were also intelligent people. They were also pure. They also accepted the path of renunciation. They also became renunciants. And then Narad Muni left from that place. So Narad Muni, as he left, and this Shavalasvas, they became pure. They never returned back. It is like the night which has passed. Daksha, when he heard, oh my God, 10,000 sons became brahmacharis. Even in this age, even if one son becomes brahmachari, parents go mad. 10,000 sons. And then after that, again 1,000 sons. When this news came to Daksha, he almost fainted. He fainted due to lamentation. He was crying, he was lamenting. And when he met Narada, he spoke. Somebody may question, why did Narad Muni, actually Narad Muni again went to meet Daksha. Somebody may question why Narad Muni met Daksha. He already knew that Daksha will be very, very angry and upset with him. Why he had to go to Daksha? Just see now the thought process of Narad Muni. Narad Muni is thinking the whole dynasty of Swayambhuva Manu, Priyavrat Maharaj. We discussed in the fifth canto. He was the student of Narad Muni, completely liberated soul. Then Dhruva, we discussed in the fourth canto. He was also liberated by the blessings of Narad Muni. Then in the line of Dhruva, the descendants were Prachetas. And before that, the father of Dhruva, Uttanpad, he was also liberated by Narad Muni. Prachetas were also liberated by Narad Muni at the end. The father of Prachetas, Prachina Barhi, he was also liberated by Narad Muni. So Narad Muni is thinking, and then now Shavalasvas and Haryashvas. So Narad Muni is thinking, whole dynasty of Swayambhuva Manu, they all attained the Lord by my efforts. How is it that only Daksha is remaining? Daksha is only falling in the, still falling in the blind hole of material existence. I will deliver him also. And he was thinking, now, hearing that his sons have become renunciants, Daksha must be lamenting and he must have developed detachment from the material life. Now it is a suitable time to give him mercy. Just see the thought process of a preacher. He is ready to undergo any type of risks. Narad Muni thinks, if he is not coming to me, I'll go to his house. So therefore, thinking like this, Narad Muni went to see Daksha. And when Narad Muni reaches Daksha's place, Daksha starts blaspheming Narad Muni in all the choicest words. So Daksha, Prabhupada writes, Daksha's criticism towards Narad Muni gives many lessons for how advocates of Krishna consciousness must tolerate opposition from materialistic people. In the course of preaching this Krishna consciousness movement, we'll be faced with lots of accusation, harsh words, abuses. Nobody wants to accept Krishna consciousness. We will face criticism. We will face all the abuses. We should be ready for that. Now, Daksha is criticizing Narad Muni in heavy words. He says, you are a sadhu. You are dressing as a sadhu, you are a sadhu. I am grihastha, I am saintly. You have done injustice. You have not acted properly. You have shown my inexperiences. My sons were inexperienced. You have shown them the path of renunciation, Bhikshumarg. Chakravarti Thakur writes that Daksha is thinking, I am a saintly person. I have done such a huge austerity. You have caused great misfortune for me, O Narad. You have, and actually, who would never show such hatred to you even in dreams? I will never think of you like this. I will never do any harm to you, but you have done lots of harm to me. What injustice did I do to you? I was not having any envy towards you. And you destroyed my family because you could not tolerate the happiness of my family life. Therefore, you have made my children beggars. So Prabhupada writes, he clarifies, he says, despite all the accusations of a materialistic person, the devotees, they continue preaching this Krishna consciousness movement. Then he says, O Narada, you are like sin personified, you are Papa. My sons, they are not yet free from three debts. What are the three debts? He says that, there are three debts of everyone. Obligation to the demigods, obligation to the saintly people, and obligation to the Father. My sons, they had not completed paid their debts. You have obstructed their good fortune. Chakravarti Thakur writes that, Prabhupada writes that Daksha, he did not know the final decision of the Shastras. Devarshi bhutaptaninam pitrinam nakinkaro nayam ranicha rajan sarvatmanayah sharanam sharanyam gato mukundam pariritya karatum. Whoever surrenders his life completely to Krishna, he is free from all the debts. Prabhupada writes, if one renounces for the sake of the Lord, he becomes completely free from all the debts. So therefore, a Vaishnava's duty is to enable one to go back to Godhead. That is the service of a Vaishnava. Then Daksha says, you are Niranukrosha. Niranukrosha means you are devoid of any compassion. You have spoiled the minds of my innocent boys. You are Yashoha. You have defamed the Supreme Lord by your sinful activities. Although you are moving amongst associates of the Lord, but you are destroying the fame of the Supreme Lord. And then he says, you are shameless. You are Nirapatrapa. Chakravarti Thakur writes that Daksha is thinking, what can I say to such an evil person like you? You are so evil. The Lord has become defamed by servants like you. You have destroyed the name, fame of that Supreme Lord. You are without any compassion. Prabhupada writes that this mentality of Daksha continues even today. When young boys, they join Krishna consciousness movement, the fathers and the so-called guardians, they become very angry at the propounders of the Krishna consciousness movement, because they think their sons have been unnecessarily induced to practice this. But the devotee is ready to undergo any pains. He is callous to the opinions of the world. He is ready to undergo all the infamy to serve and preach this message. Then he says, Daksha says that you are Sauridagna. You are the breaker of friendships. You are Vairankaran Avairinam. You are the creator of enemy against the non-envious people. And therefore, all the Lord's devotees except you, he says, you are not kind to anyone. Except you, all the other devotees of the Lord, they are kind. Prabhupada clarifies. He says, devotees, they are Sauridam Sarvabhutanam. They are friendly to all. So therefore, devotees are Ajat Shatru. They do not have any enemies. But non-devotees, they become inimical towards devotees. There are many, instances in the history and in the current scenario. There are so many devotees. There are so many, people who are envious towards devotees. But devotees, they would always give mercy. So therefore, Prabhupada writes, we should be tolerant, we should be merciful, and we should continue preaching. And then Prabhupada writes, and then after that, Daksha says, actually knowledge brings real detachment. Just by changing the dress, nobody gets detachment. And then Prabhupada clarifies that actually Narad Muni gave knowledge to sons and therefore they became detached. It was not that Narad Muni just told them to change the dress. He gave them knowledge. Daksha says, just by personal experience of the misery and happiness, one naturally becomes detached. If without experiencing the pains and pleasures of this world, how can one become detached? Prabhupada writes that actually material nature induces one to enjoy even after suffering. That is the nature of the material world. Even if somebody is in a hellish situation, he will not leave. Even if somebody is in a most degraded condition, and we know the example of Indra becoming a pig. He was in a body of a pig, but still he was not able to give up that body. So this attachment to the material life is very, very difficult to give up. Automatic detachment, nobody gets. And then Daksha says, one whose mind is changed by others cannot be so renounced. One has to take conscious decision, nobody can, tell others to become renounced. That's there. But by mercy of the devotees, one can become detached. Artificially, by all this karma and the jnana, one cannot become detached. By mercy of the devotees, one can become detached. And then after describing all this, Daksha says, You may be forgiven once for displeasing an honest grihavrata. Then, he says, Prabhupada writes that actually Daksha, he wanted to prove that he had been tolerant when Narada induced his first group of sons, because Narada Muni did the same thing twice. Daksha is saying, एक बार माफ कर सकते हैं. You did the same mistake twice. So therefore, I curse you. Daksha curses Narada Muni. He says, I curse you that you will not be able to stay at one place. You will keep traveling all over the universe. You will have no residence. Prabhupada writes that is a blessing. Traveling punishment is a boon to a preacher. And Daksha, he is an attached grihastha, grihamedhi. He thinks that having no residence is a great punishment. And Prabhupada, he would tell his disciples that actually, I am also carrying on the curse which Narad Muni got. It is coming in line to all the preachers of Krishna consciousness movement. Therefore, although I have big mansions, I cannot stay at one place. Last verse, it is interesting. Shukadeva Goswami says, though capable of cursing Daksha, Narad Muni tolerated accepting the curse. He just tolerated. Why Narad Muni tolerated the curse? Why he just, tolerated all the accusations of Daksha? Very interesting. Narad Muni could have left immediately, he could have left. Why he had to hear all the accusations? All humiliations, accusations, criticisms. Again, beautiful, thought process of Narad Muni is described here. This shows the compassion of Narad Muni. Narad Muni thought, let Daksha exhibit all his anger. Let him curse me. When his anger subsides, he will understand that I tolerated everything and did not criticize him. I did not curse him in return, he will understand. After he vents out all his anger, he will then understand, because a person is angry, he cannot understand anything. Then he will repent for his misbehavior. Then he will be a suitable field for me to sow the seed of bhakti. So Narad Muni is such a compassionate preacher. Nobody can become a compassionate person artificially. Nobody can become a preacher, with a compassionate heart artificially. Narad Muni is saying, then Daksha will become a suitable field for me to sow the seed of bhakti. Therefore, thinking in this way, Narad Muni remained silent. We have to understand, when we are preaching in this Krishna consciousness movement, we are not having compassion most of the times. We cannot say that I am showing compassion for the people in general. No. We are borrowing the compassion of the acharyas and we are giving that compassion to the others. In due course of time, the genuine natural compassion will also develop in the heart of every devotee. But till that time, what we have to do, we have to just borrow the compassion of the acharyas and spread this knowledge of Krishna consciousness. That is the right mood of preaching. We cannot go and preach thinking that I am the deliverer of the whole world. I am the person who is taranhar. No. Why I am doing preaching? For my own self. Apana shodhite. I am giving so that I can get the mercy. So that is the Narad Muni's wonderful behavior. That is the end of the 5th chapter. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Anybody has any questions? You all can speak if you want. I have put everybody to unmute also.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you very much for nice, wonderful class. We always relish your lectures. I have 3-4 questions, Prabhu. First is in your talk you said Gyanis and Sankhya philosophy. About that Gyanis, the process of Gyani is they try to understand 24 elements. right? And in Sankhya philosophy also, they do the similar things, 24 elements. They try to understand these elements. And then the ultimate result, I mean, ultimate goal is to understand that there is the controller of this 24 elements. That should be the ultimate goal. So I just wanted to find out whether Gyanis and Sankhya philosophy are they same,
Yeah,
Prabhu,
they are
or
same.
is there any difference? They are same.
Yes, they
Okay,
are
what
same.
is the
Jnanis,
uh,
Jnanis, what they their process is also the same. They also analyze the world, and by that analysis, they become free from the attachments. For example, if there is a rasgulla or gulab jamun in front of you, you may get attracted to that. But if you keep atta and some sugar and everything, you will not get attracted. That is the purpose of gyan. So gyan means to see the material universe is as the ingredients. What are the ingredients of this material creation? The 24 elements. So that is a process of gyan or sankhya. So that is the same process. Okay. So by that they become slowly detached from the material world.
okay. Okay, and the next question is, Prabhu, we have heard so many times that devotional service, actually, what is devotional service? Is that service which can please the Lord. Okay, so in this Daksha's example we have seen, it always bewilders me. Daksha was given a service of population, increasing population, and that service was given by the Lord, and he was just trying to fulfill that service. So that is why he gave birth to 10,000 children and all that. And then in that service of his, when he saw that there is an impediment, and when Narad Muni comes after doing all this, all respect to Narad Muni, Narad Muni is a pure devotee, of course. But then when Narad Muni comes there, then he gets angry. So I I am totally bewildered, totally in doubt that why when he was doing his service for the pleasure of the Lord, then why he is condemning? I mean, why we are condemning Daksha?
Okay. So basically, when we are describing the story of Daksha, so starting from Swayambhuva Manu, and all the further generations, their purpose is why Swayambhuva Manu was created. What was the instruction which Lord gave to Swayambhuva Manu? We discussed in the third canto. After this whole creation, then Swayambhuva Manu and Shatrupa was created. Brahmaji, he gave the same instructions to Swayambhuva Manu also. Populate this universe. That is the primary job of all the Prajapatis. But we don't criticize, we don't hear such type of description about Swayambhuva Manu and all the further, descendants of Swayambhuva Manu. But we hear so many things about Daksha because he was not understanding the actual principle of devotional service. He was thinking from a karma kandi point of view. And he was not thinking from a devotional point of view. So therefore, because Daksha, he was thinking my service is to populate the world. He was not thinking what is the purpose of populating the world. The living entities, they should go back to the spiritual world. And all these devotees, Narad Muni, what he is doing the same thing. He is helping the Lord to bring all the souls back to him. And what I am doing, I am also doing the same thing, but he could not see the relationship. So because he was so very engrossed in the mentality that I am the controller here and I am doing a duty, but actually he was not doing a duty according to his consciousness was not proper. He was just thinking that whatever I am thinking, that is the only way to do this service. And that's how he offended Narad Muni. And before that also, Lord Shiva, when he was meditating, Daksha, he offended Lord Shiva. So basically, there are three types of devotees. Devotees in the mode of goodness, passion and ignorance. Kapila Dev, he described. Devotional service can be done in the mode of goodness also, passion also, and ignorance also. So devotional service is pure, but the devotee, the person who may be doing it, he may not be pure. He may not be in the mood of Shuddha Sattva. He may be in the mood of passion or ignorance. So that's why all the other devotees, Swayambhu Manu and Priyavrat Maharaj and Dhruva, they came to the level of transcendence. Dhruva Maharaj was also passionate. He wanted so many things. Ultimately, he became a pure devotee. And Daksha ultimately will see that he will also become purified of this sinful mentality. But now, currently, he is so very absorbed in the modes of passion and ignorance. He is so very much hankering for the name, fame, prestige, and that's why he's not able to understand that there is a higher reality to this, this material world. If somebody is helping the Supreme Lord by bringing him close to this Krishna consciousness, then that person should be respected. That person should be given all the respect. But Daksha, he does not know this. That's why he is ignorantly criticizing and cursing Narad Muni. So that's why you have to understand, Swayambhu Manu and all the devotees, their primary role is to populate this universe. But why in doing so, they should be able to deliver their subordinates to the Supreme Lord's abode by giving them Krishna consciousness. Gurur na sasyat, sajano na sasyat, pita na sasyat, pati na sasyan. Namo chaye yah samuped mrityam. If somebody is not able to deliver their subordinates, one should not become father, mother, king, spiritual teacher. So that's what Daksha is not able to understand. That highest knowledge is to get devotional service. So that is understanding.
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Wonderful. Just one more question, then I'll end. How do we see this particular episode of Daksha with relation to our devotional service? When we get some service and the other devotee gets service, do we see this our devotional service with relate to this particular episode?
So I didn't understand. If we get service or other devotees get service, that means?
Yeah, I am saying like Daksha and Narad Muni, both of them, they have their service, right, towards the Lord. And supposing I also get a service in the temple, other devotee also has a service in the temple. So, I mean, I should respect
There's
that
a
devotee
clash
also,
between
that whatever he is.
our services,
Yeah,
So then how to do it? Just approach the superior authority, that's all. We have to just clarify our doubts. And if we are not able to understand, am I right or the person in front is right? So better approach a superior authority and clarify it. Many times when we are in the modes of passion, when we are in the field, we are so much covered by the modes of passion, we cannot see the actual picture. It requires mode of goodness to understand the whole picture. Sattvat sanjayate jnanam. So therefore you have to approach a superior authority who is not directly involved in it, but who is observing all of our activities. So he can give the right guidance. He can tell us, okay, you are not doing the right way, or that person is not doing the right way. So that is the easiest way. By our intelligence, we may not be able to come to the understanding that, and we may end up criticizing the other devotees. That will be more detrimental. So like that. So therefore, the best way is to just ask some superior devotees and it will be clarified. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Somebody is asking what are the different types of jnanis and their destinations. So basically there are impersonalists. There in the second canto it is described. There are two types of impersonalists. One who is still attached to the material desires. Other is detached. Ultimate destination of both of them is Brahman. But the way they take is different. The person who is attached to the material life, he may go to higher planetary systems and Shishumar planet and the Maharlok, Janalok, Taplok, and then Brahmalok. And then after the whole life of Brahmaji, he may get liberated. Person who is having no material desires, he directly gets liberation into Brahman. But the ultimate destination of all the jnanis is Brahman liberation until or unless he becomes a devotee of the Lord. If he becomes a devotee, then the destination is Goloka. Okay, so we'll stop here. So thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki